Emma told Earl to leave and go do what he needs to get his head straight. He just stood there looking at her. No physical reaction that she could see. She walked away from him, telling him that she was hungry and was going to fix something to eat. Welcome back, my friends. I hope you are doing well. If you are new to this channel, welcome and go back to previous videos. This is a continuing story of Detective Earl Solano and his wife, Professor Emma Grant. Please show your support by subscribing and clicking on the like button so you won't miss when a new video is uploaded. Now let's get back to the story. Why don't we cook together and make an evening of it? He asked. Okay, she agreed. They revived the leftover steak she'd grilled the night before and added baked potatoes and a salad. Earl suggested they eat out on the back deck, and Emma set the table. Earl brought out the food and some wine for him and fruit juice for her. The air was hot and humid, and Emma was starting to feel like a limp noodle. They went inside as soon as they ate, and Earl turned on the air conditioner, then sat across from her. Better? He asked. You know, I could get used to central air. I feel so much better, she admitted. Side by side, they cleared up, and once the kitchen was set to rights, Earl left her to finish up. Minutes later, she could hear Barry White. She smiled to herself and went to join him in the living room. He opened his arms and she went into them. They danced until the CD was through. At the end, he scooped her up in his arms and carried her upstairs. It was almost like old times, except Emma felt like it was goodbye. Every kiss and every caress felt like it was their last. Sometime during the night, Earl woke up to find Emma gone. She wasn't in the bathroom nor in Sam's room. He found her downstairs in the living room, sitting in the single chair with the lights on and her legs tucked underneath her. Emma, did you have a nightmare? Earl asked, his stomach clenching. She looked up at him. There were tears streaming down her face. No, I just wanted to sit here and cry alone. Earl sat on the floor beside her and waited. Is that all? He asked. Right now, it is more than I can bear. Earl took her hand and led her back up to bed. She clung to him even though her heart was breaking. I know that it is necessary for you to go, just like it was for me. In my head, I understand it, but emotionally, and especially when my hormones are all jumbled up, I don't want you to go. Earl kissed her hard. I never meant to hurt you, only to love you. She had to know that, he thought. I know, she murmured. I'm sorry you're losing sleep. Tomorrow is a big day for you, and you need your rest. She snuggled closer and closed her eyes. Earl closed his eyes after a while. Emma awoke early, but Earl still beat her. He was in the shower, and she rushed to have breakfast ready for him. He came down to eat, and he was still in his bathrobe. After breakfast, he took her hand and led her back upstairs. There he made love to her, leaving her sated and with her body still tingling. He got dressed, kissed her on the forehead, and left. He'd done it again, and she didn't stop him. He promised to call her as soon as he arrived. This retreat that Earl was going to was sponsored by the police department and was specifically geared toward policemen in crisis, and Emma didn't know how long it would take. For an hour after Earl left, Emma slept. She climbed out of her sleep when the doorbell rang. It was Doreen, and she was pleased. The two women hugged, and Doreen asked her how she was. I suppose Earl has you roped into Emma watch detail too? She asked her sister-in-law. Doreen nodded. He called me early this morning. He said that you'd be a little down. Doreen searched her face. Are you down? Emma shrugged. We talked last night and this morning. He tricked me, and now all I can do is shake my head. He tricked you? How? Emma smiled at her sister-in-law. Your brother has this talent where he can distract you from a goal or convince you to not mind a situation. Emma explained. I don't get you. What did he do? I was feeling sad and told him that I didn't want him to go, even though I understood that he needed to go. That was logic. Then he very successfully used sex. I'd been trying to be more aware of his tricks, but he changed his tactics every time. Doreen smiled and blushed a little. Earl is a master at strategy. You can't win. When we were kids, he used to beat us at chess and convincingly talk himself out of trouble. I just hope he can truly work out what he's feeling. I know he's feeling guilty and responsible. He's questioning his ability to keep his family safe. It never occurred to me that he wasn't larger than life or that he could ever feel inadequate. Okay, so now you know that he has feet of clay. I know my brother, he'll come around. Trust the process and take care of yourself, Doreen advised. I'm trying, Emma said. She looked down at her bare left hand. During the night, before he came down to find her in the living room, she'd taken her rings and placed them in his wallet. The symbol of their love was with him now. Good. I know you're thinking that he won't come back. I can see it in your face. Emma, I've never seen my brother lose his cool like he does about you. He won't abandon you, and if he does, he'll have the whole Solano clan on him. Emma laughed. You're right. The other thing is this secret you want me to keep. I'm bursting with it. You must tell the family. We're having a barbecue tonight. Why don't you come and tell everybody? I'll come, but I can't tell them yet. Earl and I talked it over. I want to throw Sam a party for her birthday, and we'll tell everyone then. You're killing me, but fine. They had lunch, and then Doreen extracted her promise to come, and then left. Emma dressed in a loose-fitting outfit and called Matt to let him know that he was coming for Sam. He tried to discourage her, but she insisted and assured him that their daughter was safe with her. When they arrived at the Solano home, everybody fawned over them. They were supportive to the point of smothering her. Jared wasn't even trying very hard to keep an eye on her. You know, Jared, I'm on to you. Who put you up to this? Doreen? Earl? I won't fall apart if I spend a few minutes by myself, you know. Jared shook his head. I don't know what you're talking about. I like talking with you, and I also feel comfortable with you. If you look around, you and I are the only outsiders here. Speak for yourself. I'm a Solano now, but I know what you mean. I appreciate what you're doing, but really I'm fine. Before Earl, I was a force to be reckoned with. I'm just having a little setback is all. Why are you having a setback? Asked Jared. Falling in love does strange things to a person. I thought I was good by myself. I never thought I needed a man to complete me. Now I've become so not the me I used to be. My happiness depends on his happiness. Do you know I can feel him even when I can't see him? I've noticed that connection you two have. Most couples long for that, and some won't ever achieve it. It is very special and rare, he told her. Well, it doesn't feel good right now. I need to be an individual too. I wish I could get him out of my head. Emma stayed an extra 30 minutes past Samantha's bedtime just to show that she was all right. Then she gathered platters of food her in-laws wrapped for her, and they left. Samantha was very good company. She was such a happy child. She loved to play, talk, and question. Matt wanted to come for her, but Emma insisted that she could care for her. A week had gone by and Earl called only once. He was fine and thought he was making progress, and he said that he missed her. And no, he didn't think he'd be back the following week. Emma kept Sam an extra few days before taking her back to her dad. Matt and Angela had news of their own. They were expecting. Emma expressed how happy she was for them and left quickly. The news depressed her. She was surrounded by pregnant women who were happy and glowing, and every day she received calls from friends and family. She was sick of them. That evening, Earl called. They spoke for 30 minutes. She was so happy and relieved, she cried. He told her that he loved her and then told her that after the retreat, he had to take a trip to England. He promised that he would call her with the details and that he wouldn't be gone long. He hadn't even mentioned the rings in his wallet. Did he even know they were there? The pity party she had promised herself was starting to sound really good to her. Was her secret fear coming to pass? Was her husband leaving her? What was going on in Earl's head? All those questions made her head spin. All she wanted to do was wallow in despair. But after all the counseling and therapy sessions, she couldn't. She'd grown, damn it. By the third week, Emma weakened and spent that Tuesday crying. Doreen picked that day to come by. Has she developed radar or something? Those damn Solano people made her sick. They wouldn't leave her alone. Emma let her in and didn't even try to hide that she'd been crying. What do you want? She asked Doreen rudely. Hello to you too. Earl called and told Mom about the baby and also that he was going to be away longer than he anticipated. She was mad at me and she is pissed at you. I don't care. Why are you here? Did your precious brother tell you that I needed hand-holding? The next time he calls you, tell him that he doesn't have to worry about me. I can take care of myself. She knew Doreen didn't deserve it, but she was livid. My, aren't you a little ray of sunshine? I can see that you are okay, rude, but okay, so I will take myself to where I am wanted. Doreen let herself out, and Emma went back to the couch to continue her pity party. She wanted to scream when the doorbell rang once more. Did Doreen forget to tell her how much she loved her? She yanked the door open and stopped. Paul's bright smile faded quickly. Emma! Hey! Are you okay? He asked. He was the last person she expected to see, and he was exactly the person she needed to see. She flung herself into his arms and sobbed. Paul held her and closed the door and led her back to the couch. Emma, honey, you are going to have to slow down a little. Take a deep breath and tell me what's wrong, okay? He handed her some tissues and waited for her to pull herself together. I'm sorry, Paul. I didn't mean to fall apart on you like that. I'd been holding it together all along, and for some reason, today I couldn't. Did Earl call you too? Yeah, we've been in touch almost every day because of the program. We've been coordinating with the superintendent for the opening. We've been working with the schools to sign kids up. He's been doing most of the networking, Paul told her. Emma hadn't realized that he was still working while away. How like him to do that, she acknowledged. Everyone had his attention but her. Why was that? How can she ignore that it was her he hadn't wanted contact with? Paul visited for a while longer, making sure that she was okay and didn't need anything. After he left, Emma made her decision to stop feeling sorry for herself and to stop crying. Earl probably had a very good excuse and she would give him the benefit of the doubt. Instead of sitting in the house feeling sorry for herself, she got dressed and went to the self-defense classes she signed up for. The following day, she got up and cleaned her house. Then she went to get her daughter and they went to the beach, just like she promised Sam they would. She even packed a picnic lunch. They had a great day together. Later, they planned her birthday barbecue. Her in-laws all came to help with the preparations. Rohan's wife, Laura, was great at decorating, and with Beau's wife, Jill, they had the yard looking festive. Sam had warned them that everything had to be Barbie-themed, and they came through and Mr. Solano rented a bouncy house for the kids. Emma hadn't planned on cooking anything but party and kid-approved foods, so she had hamburgers and hot dogs on the grill, which Jared took over the grilling. The ladies helped Emma make gallons of lemonade and fruit punch. For music, Samantha had insisted on a popular kids' gospel music CD she'd badgered her mother to get for her. With music blasting at an acceptable level, Emma took a moment to watch her daughter and her friends laugh, eat, and play. Paul and his family came, and so did a very pregnant Lindora and Kevin. Emma ordered her friend to sit beside her, and they caught up on last-minute gossip. When gift time came, the elder Mrs. Solano supervised while Emma looked on. It was a perfect day, and all that was missing was Earl. She had started to feel his presence the minute she thought of him. The hairs on the nape of her neck stood on end, and her heart pounded against her ribs. The prong she was using to turn the hot dogs dropped from her suddenly nerveless hand. She turned around to search the yard, but he wasn't there. Jared was at her side instantly. "What's the matter?" he asked, concerned. "Do you remember when I told you that I could sense Earl? He's here. I can feel him." She glanced once more. "You're mistaken, Emma. He isn't here," Jared said as he too searched the crowd of people. The majority of the guests in the yard were 4 feet and under. If Earl was there, she wouldn't miss spotting him. There was no way she could miss the over 6 foot tall man. Jared searched her face. She looked anxious. Earl had been gone nearly a month, and they hadn't heard from him in a week. Emma had been having little anxiety attacks, and he watched her closely. She returned to the grill, but he stayed close. Those first few days were cake for Earl. His trouble wasn't guilt, but fear. He'd come to understand that his job would lead to all sorts of twists and turns, things he wouldn't have any control over. It involved the nature of the work and the nature of man. He had no control over those things except what he could physically do. Beyond that, it was up to chance. There may never be another attack on his personal life again, and he couldn't guarantee that there wouldn't be either. He had come to terms with that and factored it in. When Emma had returned from her therapy, she had basically told him the same thing, but it was something he had to work out for himself. He'd done a lot of soul-searching, and now he was through. He wanted to come home and pick up the pieces of his life and move on. He wanted and needed Emma. The last of the children had gone, and the yard had gotten quiet. Lindora pleaded fatigue, and Kevin had taken her home. Paul and his family had left also. The Solano clan were the only ones left, and they had insisted on lingering. The women brought out steaks and vegetables, and Mr. Solano commandeered the grill. Matt had come for Sam because he and Angela wanted to celebrate her birthday with his parents. Emma wanted to argue but didn't have the energy. Rohan and Bo went to get reggae CDs from their cars, and soon the festivities had changed to something more adult. And then Bo was dancing with his wife, and the others followed suit. The children had tired themselves out, and Doreen guided them inside to take naps. Emma watched them and remembered the last time she had danced to that music. There it was again, that feeling that he was here. She felt him so close that she could almost reach out to touch him, but he wasn't there. The minute his eyes found her, the world had become a vast void where nothing else existed but Emma. Earl had forgotten how to breathe. All that kept him from giving up and doing what he needed to do was standing across that yard. Emma had been the mantra he repeated to himself over and over again. It kept him sane. When he could breathe again, it was in tune to Emma's breathing, and his heart beat in rhythm with hers. From across the yard, her scent floated out to him. Emma didn't need to turn around. Earl knew that she knew he was there. His sister was the first to notice him, and she rushed to his side. He put a finger to his lips to quiet everyone. He didn't want to fuss. The others saw him too, and they stopped to watch. Doreen smiled. Those two were amazing. They were both wearing white. Emma dropped a hot dog on the ground. He was here. That feeling was stronger now. She turned around slowly. Earl was coming toward her this time. He was here. He walked toward her, wearing that million-dollar smile of his. She smiled back. All the noise in the yard had disappeared. Everything else had become secondary. When he came to stand inches from her, Emma leaned into his arms. They didn't kiss. All they needed was to hold each other. Time stood still. It was magical. A heartbeat later, the world intruded. Earl's mother was the first to reach them. "It is about time you came home. You had us all worried," she said in her melodic tone. "Hello, Mother, everyone. How was the party?" "I'm sorry I didn't make it in time. I tried," he replied, never once taking his eyes off Emma. She looked down as he placed her rings back onto her hand. His father and his brothers crowded around him and pulled him away from Emma. She nodded to him and sat down on the nearest chair, her left hand clutched tightly around her rings. Doreen sat beside her. "Jared told me that you can sense Earl's presence even if you couldn't see him. I didn't believe it until just now. That's what I want for Jared and me." "How do you do that?" she asked. "My mind is mush right now, Doreen. I can't think that deep," Emma replied. Doreen chuckled. "I've seen my brothers in action, but I had never seen Earl. They have nothing on him, do they?" Emma looked at her and shook her head. "Doreen, you don't know the half of it." "Tell me." Emma smiled at her sister-in-law. "Your parents have the same connection, Doreen. Just look at them. With a look or a smile, they can say so much." She caught Earl's gaze and stopped talking. Doreen saw it too. "So, what is Earl saying to you right now?" Earl was talking to his father, but his eyes remained focused on Emma. "He'd like everyone to leave. I'd like that too," Emma said softly. "Give me 5 minutes," Doreen said and jumped up. "Tomorrow you call me and tell me everything." Emma's expression was incredulous. Doreen laughed. "Well, not everything." One by one, the family gathered their belongings. Mrs. Solano had been clearing up, and it was nearly done. The men packed up their equipment and gathered their children. Doreen was the last to wave goodbye. Emma had just finished rinsing some glasses in the kitchen when she felt Earl standing behind her. She reached for a paper towel to dry her hands and turned to face him. He smiled, so she smiled. "I'm sorry you missed Sam's birthday," she told him. Earl pushed away from the door frame and closed the space between them. "Do you think I wanted to miss it?" he asked. His voice had taken that velvety tone. It was very persuasive. "I don't know. You've been gone for so long, it was hard to believe that you wanted to be part of it." "That's fair. I hadn't expected to be gone that long. I couldn't avoid it. It was something I had to do." "Why didn't you call me? You spoke with everyone else but me. Why?" "I couldn't shirk my duties with Paul on the program. I called the others because I couldn't bring myself to speak with you. If I had, I wouldn't have been able to finish what I'd started." "If you only knew," he thought to himself. "And what did you accomplish?" Emma asked. She allowed him to hold her. "I wanted to make sure that I could love you and our baby without doubts or fear. I wasn't feeling guilty, Emma. I was terrified of losing you." Earl's hand strayed to the small round baby bump. Detective, I am made of much stronger stuff than you think. Didn't I fight Raphael and survived? Didn't I keep a cool head with Walter? I wouldn't allow you to lose me. I love you too much. Until I'd realized that very fact for myself, I'd been frightened of losing you. And now? Now I want to kick myself for thinking so foolishly. Professor, can you ever forgive me for being pig-headed, egotistical, and aren't you going to stop me? You forgot to say that you were just being a man and that you are no way near as smart as me. Emma finished for him. I worried that you felt lonely. Didn't you miss me at all? Emma clung to him now. She savored his scent. I broke down once, and it seemed that you knew and sent Paul and Doreen to me. I couldn't continue feeling sorry for myself because they wouldn't let me. But at night in the dark, I allowed my fears to surface. I cried because I missed you, she said into the crook of his neck. Earl's arms tightened his hold on her, and he kissed her deeply. When he finally let go, he looked down at her. Come on, love, you're dead on your feet. Let's go to bed. They climbed the stairs. In the bedroom, Emma quietly undressed and pulled on a nightie. Earl pulled on a pajama bottom, then he pulled her close again. You know, I rehearsed this lovely little speech, and now I've forgotten it. Tell me what's in your heart, detective. She snuggled closer to him, reveling in sweet sensations, his nearness awakened in her. I don't ever want to stop loving you. There is so much in my heart that I want to share with you, but I don't know where to begin. I'm awed that you can still say that you love me. You do, don't you? I have no words to express how much, detective. She shivered as his hands caressed her. When I came home and saw you out there, with your back to me, I knew that home wasn't just this house. It was you and what we share. When I was at my lowest out there, I clung to your image, and when I closed my eyes, I could see you, and I had hope again. Emma reached up to place a finger over his lips. He was talking too much. She knew what was in his heart. She could feel it. It was nice. Detective, is there any possibility that we could make love tonight? My heart isn't the only part of me that missed you. Emma sealed her request with a kiss. It was the kiss they should have shared out in the yard, but it wasn't meant for others to witness. They had been making love all along, from the moment he stepped foot in the yard to the mental telepathy they shared. It had all been foreplay. I don't think it would be wise, Professor. Doreen told me that you'd been up early putting this party together. When I arrived, you were at the grill. She told me that you did most of the cooking. I thought we could make love in the morning, after you've rested. I won't be denied, detective. The worst part of you being gone for so long was sleeping in this big empty bed. Earl helped her out of the nightie, and he joined their bodies. What took you so long? She asked as she gave him her body. I'm sorry, love. If I could have moved heaven and earth to lessen the time, I would have done it, but I couldn't. So where did you go? He hadn't told her anything about his mysterious trip, and he promised himself that he would, but not now. I'll answer all your questions in the morning. Right now, the only thing I can focus on is the call of your beautiful body. Twice more they climbed the heights before sleep claimed them. Emma fell asleep satisfied that her husband was home, whole and still wildly in love with her. Earl slept deeply for the first time since he'd left for England. He didn't know how long it would be before he had to go back, but they promised him that he would see his child born. Are you rejoicing and a little bit confused right now? What secret was Earl hiding? Comment below if your emotions are all over the place. The next few days were like a honeymoon for the detective and his professor. Everyone understood that they needed this time alone together. Everyone but his mother, who called practically every morning. Earl's answer was the same. No, he wouldn't be over that day. One particular morning, she called and Earl had had it. He told his mother that between the hours of 7 in the morning to 12 midnight, she couldn't call. When she questioned why, he told her calmly that during those hours, he would be making love to his wife and hung up. They hadn't heard from her since. The official opening ceremony for the affected program had been delayed. So in the second week in August, at 4 p.m., the ceremony was held. The press had been notified and a television crew had been on hand to document it. New York City's affected program was successfully launched. After all the speeches and handshakes, the kids who had enrolled partied. It was a great success and Detective Rosario gave them his blessing. Emma had been contacted by the college board about her request to teach during the day. It was granted and they added an extra day. Emma was overjoyed. Samantha would finally come live with her mother permanently. Matt was hesitant, but Emma was adamant. With his wife expecting their first child, Emma felt that caring for an active 8-year-old was too much. Lindora opted to continue to teach in the evening, which gave her more time to spend with her new baby boy. Emma and Earl were the godparents to Marcus Brooks. The affected program was in full swing, and Paul and his partner were loving it. Some days were more difficult than others because of inclement weather or equipment failure, but it was all worthwhile. These precious children were the future. They were the future firemen, doctors, lawyers, and even presidents. They deserved every chance at a successful life. Emma was radiant carrying their child. A sonogram confirmed that they were having a boy. Earl insisted on naming him. Noah Tremaine Solano was such a heavy name for a child, but Earl wouldn't budge. She couldn't imagine ever calling the child by his full name, no matter what he'd done. At 10 a.m. on Valentine's Day, Emma was teaching when she started labor. She wasn't due for another week, but her baby decided that he was confined too long. He wanted out. Noah Tremaine Solano came into the world screaming indignantly. He calmed down only after he'd been cleaned and clothed. His little features, so like his father's, were serene when he was finally placed in his mother's arms. Emma was awed by the little person staring up at her. His little green eyes seemed to be saying, "I'm here." Earl noted his son's eyes, his markedly lighter complexion, frowned but said nothing. Emma had a complicated past. It made him want to learn more about the man who fathered her and abandoned her mother. He smiled for the pictures his family was taking of him, holding his son, but his mind was troubled. The private room was crowded. Emma was surprised that someone hadn't come to ask them to leave. For an hour, she smiled and greeted their friends and family. For that hour, all she wanted to do was scream. She couldn't understand why she felt that way. She should be happy. She was waiting in suspense for something to happen, something that would shatter her world. She watched her husband's face when he held their son. He had that look. She couldn't fathom what was brewing in his mind, but she could sense that something was. Earl looked down at his wife, the mother of his son. She was breathtaking, and no one could have guessed that she had spent 18 hours in labor. His son took his sweet time in coming into the world, but he was here. When they were finally alone and baby Noah was asleep in the bassinet next to the bed, Emma reached out to hold Earl's hand. "Detective, must I explain our son's complexion and eyes to you? I was raised by my aunt. My mother died right after she gave birth to me. My father didn't want the responsibility, and my Aunt Muriel never told me much about him, except that he was white. Professor, I have no doubt that Noah is my son. Whatever bloodline he carries is what it is. You've had a very stressful day, love. Try to get some rest. I'm going home for a while and I'll be back later. Call me if you need something," Earl said. He leaned down to place a kiss on her forehead and left. Emma and son were discharged from the hospital the following day. Earl came for them in an entirely different mood. He was happy and excited. When they arrived at the house, Emma braced herself. She knew that the whole family was going to be there. It was their way and she'd been trying to accept it. She went straight upstairs to freshen up and change. Earl followed her up. "Are you up for all of that downstairs?" "I know you don't like that sort of thing," he said. Emma plastered a smile on her face. "I can handle it for a little while. I can rest after they've gone. Besides, I'm nursing, so resting is optional." She was going to be bubbly and personable if it killed her. 2 hours later, Emma headed back upstairs to Noah's room. Earl carried little Noah, and once she was seated in the rocker he'd gotten for her, Earl placed him in her arms. As Noah nursed, Emma looked down in awe at this little person she was now responsible for. She's had a chance to think. Maybe it was time to find out about where she came from. She had family out there who didn't know she existed, green-eyed people. Emma closed her eyes as Noah nursed. She was tired and in pain. She was aware that Earl was watching her. "Does nursing hurt?" he asked, noting the tears in her eyes. "A little, just when he first latches on." Once the baby finished nursing and his little lips drooped, Emma handed him to his father. She stood up and quickly caught herself on the back of the rocker. A wave of dizziness assailed her. Her vision blurred and suddenly Earl was there. She wasn't aware that Earl had called out for help. Doreen and her mother came running. They helped her clean up and shower. Then Earl's mother helped her get into bed, all the while scolding her for not resting as soon as she came home. Doreen added that she didn't have to entertain them. They all understood she had just given birth. Emma allowed them to minister to her. Someone brought her a bowl of broth that she was instructed to eat. Then they propped her legs on pillows and insisted that she do nothing but nurse her baby and get up for the bathroom. Earl's mother stayed 2 weeks until she was sure Emma was stronger. He only relaxed after taking Emma for a follow-up. The bleeding had normalized and he allowed his mother to leave. She insisted that they call her if they needed her. Emma was sitting in the living room facing the fireplace. Earl was trying to start the fire, and he fiddled with it until he'd gotten it just right. "It is nice, isn't it?" she asked and moved to sit closer to him. "Yes, it is. It's also nice to finally have the place to ourselves again." "Detective, how would I go about finding my father? We have a child, and I don't know enough of my history. My aunt didn't or wouldn't tell me much. We talked mostly about my mother. She was going to be a doctor. No one knew about her heart condition. She died hours after giving birth to me, and all I have are pictures. My aunt said that she was brilliant, that she graduated early." "Would you like me to help you find him?" "Yes, but the information I have is very limited. I know they attended the same high school, that he had gotten into college away from home. Aunt Muriel never told me his name. My mother's name was Emmeline. I was named after her." "I'll do my best." Emma sighed and took his hand. "There's just one more thing. There's something going on that you've been keeping from me. I've felt it for months ever since you came back from England. I have some theories on what it might be. Would you like to hear them?" Earl went very still. Emma was very intelligent. It was one of the things he loved about her. "I'm all ears. I had been paying more attention to you because you're smart. You are a master when it comes to diversion, and I've let you get away with them. It was nice having my mind blown every time I broached the subject. Those were the best times. You've mastered using sex to scramble my brain, but you can't do it to me now. Not for another 4 weeks. You are going to tell me everything. There is someone you speak with on your phone. It isn't Paul because he will call the house phone if he wants to talk with you, and it isn't your family either. When this person calls, you always take the call in another room or outside. I won't even entertain the idea that you are having an affair. You are too honest to love two women so completely." Emma searched her husband's face. His expression had not changed, but she could tell that he was listening intently. "Then I thought about all that I know about you. You are a man with a past I am not familiar with, and you have that mysterious air about you when you think no one is looking. I thought about you being involved in a European version of the mob, but it didn't fit. So I thought of the skills you have, and it all came together. You have a decorated military background, your expertise in investigative work with the police force, and your creative way with a rifle. Then there was the fact that you hadn't broken a sweat when we bought the house. You wrote a check like it was an everyday thing for you to shell out $200,000 for the down payment. Now all of those factors fit my theory. You work for an intelligence system of some sort, don't you?" Emma looked at his face and it hadn't changed, but she knew that she was right. Earl nodded more to himself than at her. "I was afraid you'd guess sooner or later. I wasn't to tell you unless it was absolutely imperative," he admitted. He was even using agent terms, she noticed. "It's a relief, really. I'd been dreading it, but now that you know, it's easier to talk about it. I wasn't active for almost 6 years, and I thought I would continue to be inactive indefinitely. I wanted out because of you. That line of work is for a single man." Emma took his hand and squeezed it. "What does active look like?" "That business with Raphael is what started it up again. I didn't know that it would go back to anyone important. Someone from the 83rd must have posted something, and now the Crown is calling once again. I was contacted just before I went in for counseling. Afterwards, I flew to England and put through briefing. I negotiated with my superiors for one last case, and then I'd be out completely. I'm waiting for word." "Word?" Emma asked. Her heart was pounding in her chest. She had hoped that Earl would confess to having an affair. That was something she could almost deal with. This was alien. She didn't know what to do with that. "On when I leave," clarified Earl. "I don't suppose you can tell me anything more? Like how much time we have before you go?" "I'm sorry, I don't know myself. I want us to enjoy whatever time we have. I want as much time I can get with our son too. I sure hope they will give us another month. I will be extremely put out if we don't get to make love before you have to leave. Emma stood and she turned to him quickly. My house isn't bugged, is it? She looked around as if she can spot one or have one magically appear. Earl stood up too. You are taking this well. How do you feel about it? It was a relief that she knew. Well, at least the part she deduced. For now it was good. The other wasn't important. I think it's exciting that my husband is Agent 007, but I probably will scare myself silly if I think about it too deeply. Were there a lot of women in your life like James Bond? Do you have cool gadgets and stuff? Earl laughed out loud. Emma was indeed a gem. I had a steady girlfriend for 3 years who I had been faithful to, even when there were women galore throwing themselves at me. Gadgets are for movies. Too bad. You've just become ordinary again. Emma pulled on a lock. I know you have special plans for me while you are gone. I won't mind so long as no one wants to babysit me the entire time you're gone. Professor, unless I am tied up somewhere, I will call you regularly. He looked at her again. If he doesn't give himself away, the plans he has for her will stay secret. The rest of the week was uneventful, much to Earl's peace of mind. Samantha was home, and she was the perfect little helper. She was careful when she held her brother. Earl loved watching her be big sister. 2 months later, Earl received the call. He was to leave the following week. It was a relief to finally know. They'd been living on edge not knowing. Matt couldn't adjust to not having Sam full-time, so they decided to try each having her alternating weeks parenting her. Emma thought it was a lot, but Sam adjusted just fine. On Friday night that week, Earl drove Sam to her father's house. He told her that he had to go to England to work for a while. He promised that he would call her as much as possible. Samantha said that she would miss him. Emma was harder to convince. She didn't have the blind faith of a child. She had gotten quiet. Knowing that in the next couple of days he had to board a plane and leave her was torture. His son was just starting to coo. He would give anything to not have to go, but duty was duty. Every afternoon when Emma came home from work, Emma picked up Noah from his parents, and if he was asleep, she'd wake him. As she sat in the rocker to nurse, she'd talk to him about his father. Earl came home once while she was doing it. Her voice sounded proud as she told the infant about his father, the hero. After putting Noah down for the night, Emma was his. Every evening he would try to get home before her to cook a special meal. Then together they'd climb the stairs to bed. On their last night, Emma lay in his arms and told him that he didn't have to worry about her. All she wanted was for him to come back to her as soon as he can. She made him promise. Earl would have promised her the world if he could. She never questioned him about what he was going to do in England, and he didn't volunteer. In the morning, she woke up early to have breakfast ready for him. When Earl came out of the shower, he found her sitting at the table trying to be brave. She sipped her coffee, and only when she put the mug down did he see her hands shaking. Come on, I think I heard Noah when I passed his room. Let's go say good morning to him. Earl put his hand out to her and she took it. Okay. Noah was still sleeping peacefully. He is precious, isn't he? Earl stated, looking down at his son. Emma nodded. She didn't trust herself to speak. Earl led her back to their bedroom. He kissed her deeply and started to undress her. No, I don't want to be foggy when you leave. Let me feel you leave, Emma said. Woman, why do you torture me so? Earl asked, but he complied. When he left, she kissed him at the door. She wasn't even surprised that a car was waiting for him at the curb. Well, that's it for now. Please comment which part hit you the hardest. And please hit that like button, subscribe, and share. See you next time.